So we'll preview England and Ireland in Twickenham, which we haven't really spoken. We buried the lead on this all year, really, since the Six Nations. We haven't really been talking about Ireland. We've been going all kinds of places.
Rugby.
We've been following rugby, and Ireland haven't really been the story. We're going to Twickenham, playing against England. England definitely a few notches above where Ireland are as far as that intensity that we were talking about. Like England coming out of that contest with Wales. But 2 contests with Wales, they're ready and willing and able to be there for the hits. I expect the defensive line to be quick and in our face. I also expect them to want to get a win at home, and it'll be closer to their full team in Twickenham for this.
Oh, listen, I think England. I think this is potentially to be very dangerous for Ireland. It's Ireland's first hit out, and they've got to be ready, because in terms of how England go about winning these games, it is with an early blitzkrieg. It is by physically being at a level that your opponent is not. And that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to go for that blitzkrieg opening, maybe not with as many subtleties and as many reads as came in that opening game of the season against Dublin in February, but it's going to be looking to physically outmatch Ireland, looking to shock them, obviously first game of the season for a lot of these Irish players presumably, and just looking to blow them away with a game that's raw physicality. And then obviously they're going to be looking for, I would say, Farrell and Slade will come in, and they're going to be looking to execute attacking moves and attacking kicks and finding the space once they're over the gain line with a lot more, with a lot smoother and more fluid attacking play. And they're going to be just looking to get that right, and if it clicks, it's a very, very scary game for an out of form, out of practice Ireland team to manage at all. It could be a case of shipping, as we did earlier in the year, some early scores, and England really getting up a serious atmosphere and a serious attitude in Twickenham. So it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolute banana skin of a game. It's
more than that.
It is. It's just a tough ask. The trend has been with these warm-up games that the home side has won all of them thus far. You'd make England heavy favourites in this for that reason, but not just that reason, just for where they are physically comparatively.
It's England's last warm-up game before they're playing Italy on the 6th of September, but it's their last proper game before the World Cup against a top side. So you would expect at home
they're going to treat it with due reverence.
Not even that, but they're just going to get their full team out more or less. I mean, there's 1 or 2 tinkerings that they might do, like. Eddie Jones.
Billy V may need a rest now, because that's 2 games on the bounce, 2 physical
Billy
games.
V needs a rest, and they also need to figure out who their backup 8 is. So they might give Wilson a game at number 8 just to see if he can do that. And then they might give maybe Eddie Jones wants to take another look at Launchbury.
Elliot Daly's also played both, hasn't he?
Elliot Daly, I'd say they'll keep Elliot Daly though. He hasn't
it's not as attritional a role as what Billy V's given him.
But I would expect. Maybe they'll mix it up at 12. But I would expect Youngs. I would expect Farrell. I would expect Henry Slade. I would expect Johnny May. I would expect a lot of these guys to come back into the team. And exactly. Maybe Jack Noel as well.
Maybe.
They could pick him at fullback either if they want to give Slade a rest. But it's going to be very much the spine of England's full side.
Probably Mako and Sinclair in the tight with. Probably with Jamie George as well. Like it's going to be one of those things, and like we were saying in last week's podcast, or I think the week before as well, that the precedent with these warm-up games is that for the home fixture tend to roll out more of your A team, and for the away team fixtures experiment a bit more. That will probably ring true for England. For Ireland, it's a bit more curious. I don't know how you approach this game.
It's very tough.
Do you send out something of a hodgepodge team, kind of knowing and expecting them to not be at the physical level and get blitzed a bit? Because that's going to shell. Confidence is pretty tenuous at the moment for Ireland, and the first game of the season was getting absolutely blitzed at home by this England team. Can they afford that to happen again?
The last 2 games they played against teams who are real threats to the tournament, England and Wales, they were very, very far off the level. They were blown away. And if they're playing a full England team with an elite scrum and line out and a very elite defence, very physical, an offence that just physically blows teams away, one of the best distributing backline combinations that are out there, it's a very, very tough proposition. And the way to stop it is to play that blitz defence, is to fight fire with fire in a way of matching them physically, getting your big guys onto the field. So it's a curious balance, and it depends on what kind of questions need to be answered. Because you could throw Cian Healy in there, and Cian Healy's a great scrummager, but he hasn't, he's the best loose head out there, but he hasn't played a game yet this year. And then he's going to be facing up against a fired up, Kyle Sinclair. even that could go wrong. So it's tough. But
Yeah.
I think you would err on the side of getting some of your big guys out there for sure. I mean, Ian Henderson is a guy, for example, who's physical enough to stand up to it.
Yeah.
He's someone you'd very much expect to come in.
Yeah.
I think Tadhg Furlong, he by all accounts is fit and raring to go. He's a guy who's going to come in, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. It's guys who can stand up to England and make plays in that pack. Peter O'Mahony, I would have come in and captain the team. I would make him captain, and I think he's going to be absolutely crucial. The things that he can do, he's disruptive Pete. He's one of the best out there, just disrupting things. He's the best
ball forward
defensive line-out player in the world, probably.
One of,
and he's a magnificent, really an open side in terms of how he plays at the breakdown. He can disrupt and get in, and doing what Wales did to England last week. And he's one Irish player. Like Josh has actually had a negative time against Sam Underhill, and Peter O'Mahony has yet to do that, and he'd be the guy I would deploy to take on Underhill in those tights and maybe try and wrestle some control away from England and what they're trying to do. Definitely. I think the breakdown is the best area to try and do that.
Yeah. Would you see Sexton rolled out for this week?
Well, I think the rumblings are that we're not going to see Sexton.
Probably
like
not.
We know more or less that he's been sitting out training a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's being managed again and again and again, and it's the same old Johnny story
everywhere.
I suspect we'll not see him until the second Welsh game.
So this will be a chance for either Carty or Byrne or both to get runs out.
I would expect that they're going to pick Ross Byrne and continue. Like Joe was quite critical of Carty when he came off the bench against Italy. He didn't enjoy his performance very much. Felt like we completely lost shape and control when Carberry went off. And that's one thing Ross Byrne can do is maintain a shape. I would expect them to give Gary Ringrose another run out, probably with Bundy Aki. And I think that they're from there going to be looking to Gary as a playmaker, distributor, and to Ross Byrne as control. I think one of the interesting things that Ireland have been trying to do is exit differently.
But also, we saw that against Italy. They were trying the cross kick option rather than just box kicking. They didn't box kick.
Very rarely, which is different from other teams, very rarely kicking to lose possession. They're a possession-oriented team. They kick to recover possession. And Ross Byrne just loves that game.
If you're doing a crossfield kick exit, Ross Byrne is probably the best crossfield kick of all the tens we have. Even Johnny Sexton, his flat kick pass is one of the best in the world.
He can kick a perfect bomb as well. So they're going to be looking to mix all of that up. But it's obviously a very, very difficult proposition. In terms of who you pick, I don't know. Would you pick Cian Healy? Would you try and match their scrum?
Yeah, maybe. I think that'll be the focus for this week. Is like it's not a results focus with these warm-up games. It's unique in that way for Northern Hemisphere teams, and it is unique prep compared to what the Southern Hemisphere teams have with the kind of shortened rugby championship. It's a bit more of a natural kind of, the intensity ramps up over those course of the weeks, and then they're kind of primed and in mid-season mode to go into the World Cup. These ones are a bit trickier to kind of manage that way. It's a performance focused one rather than a results one. So the areas that Ireland will want to get right that were somewhat sloppy last week are things like line out, scrum, kick-off and exit. They'll be trying to get a bit more of that right.
Defence is going to be massive. Can they disrupt England ball and match them physically, or are they going to be blitzkrieged and blown away by them? And that's where you have to be careful about who you're selecting. I mean, like the likes of, I think, Jordy Murphy, like he was looking a bit all over the place. He's a guy I would expect to step back because it's going to be a very high level of attacking force that's going to be hitting you. Maybe it's a game for CJ Stander to come back in. And
depends whether you want to go through them or around them. I'd like CJ Conan as well because we haven't seen anything.
I know, but I just mean defensively. CJ is
he tends to lead the line when he's there on the around the fringes.
That's my biggest fear about the whole game, is that Ireland just get blown away and can't cope.
Because I think that'll rock them confidence wise.
Because it would be the third time this year.
Against the only
100% of times against real World Cup contenders.
They've lost.
And lost comfortably. So they really do need to make this close, and that's what they'll be looking to do.
So he's expecting Stockdale back on the wing.
Stockdale is, we
haven't seen him, but it's just a capacity to grab tries.
Ireland's winger,
yes, that's the one. Larmour obviously started at fullback last week.
I'd expect him to take a step back.
Maybe.
I'm curious to see what they do at fullback, just because a huge part of what England did to Ireland back in February was
isolate Henshaw.
They started winning those collisions, and then forced the wingers to come up and just made a fool out of Robbie Henshaw, who was out of position at fullback and really couldn't cover the space at all.
No.
But covering the backfield by himself is how Rob Kearney made his name. If they pick him there, it'll be another opportunity for him to do that. If they go another way and pick Larmour or Conway and see if they can fill in, it'll be a heck of a job for them to contain what will likely be a very potent kicking game.
Well, yeah,
from Farrell and Slade.
if they're doing Farrell, Slade, and then Elliot Daly as well at fullback, that means you've 3 really good boots in the back line, and you have Youngs at 9 as an option as well. It just means makes covering that backfield just so tough. Yeah, because they can always shift it and do something.
That's what
else.
Rob is there for. That's why Ireland have Rob Kearney, is because he does that so well. Yeah. And it gives license to their defensive line to be a blanket. And then with Rob covering the backfield, that's crucial to what they do. But in terms of what they do this week, I'm not sure. It is, as you say, about getting those basics and those fundamentals right and seeing if they can stand up physically to what England bring. Yeah,
because England will be bringing that physicality fresh from 2 Wales tests, 2 very gritty, one especially very gritty physical one. So that what I do expect is that England are on a higher level as far as their just match conditioning is concerned, because that Italy hit out a couple of weeks back is just no real preparation.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys who were going to play in this game didn't play in that game
exactly,
as well.
So it's going to be the first hit out for a lot of the guys that Ireland are going to be putting there. So it's going to put a lot on what their conditioning has been like. We obviously hadn't seen, like I was making the point in the wake of the Italy game that I thought of all of our players, and you mentioned it, Jordy Murphy looked just a little off physically compared to where he was in the season.
I thought Rhys Ruddock wasn't right either.
Yeah, maybe not, but he was definitely more physical than Jordy. He was carrying a few times, he was winning some contacts. I thought Jordy looked a little slighter, and it can take a while before that conditioning kind of sinks in, and it's all a process towards the World Cup. So this will be an important hit out for loads of people in this Ireland team. I'm just wondering what, like you're saying, fearing that we get blown away and exposed for not having that physical edge that England are definitely going to look to bring.
This is all of it. Like, obviously, what our critique of Ireland is just getting more of an attacking game going. I think that is going to take a back seat at the moment to just getting to the level of the style of game that Ireland play, just getting to the highest level of executing that, getting our forward pack up for the fight and getting our defence solid and not missing tackles, and that's where the likes of Aki and Ringrose and what they can do defensively in terms of shutting down what England bring is going to be crucial, and the back row as well. In terms of personnel wise, there's a few guys who are at the edge of the squad who could force their way in. Obviously Andrew Conway, he's not going to feel like there's much more he can do, but I'd love to see him get a go. Ross Byrne at 10, if he does get his game, is going to have a huge opportunity. Likewise Carty, whoever they go for, huge opportunity to stake a claim at being the backup 10.
We haven't mentioned 9 either. Is it going to be Murray first hit out, or are we going to see Marmion?
I would suspect we'll see Murray. I wouldn't. There's no excuse for arresting Murray. Really, he needs to get up to speed. He hasn't had too much rugby in 2019 period. And another guy is Will Addison, who we haven't mentioned, we've seen so precious little of at test level and even at club level.
He seems to be a part of the plan, though.
He's talented. Joe, like Stockdale, it's rare for a primarily attacking footballer to find himself in Joe's good books. So certainly I would love to see him get a go and go well, just because he'd give us a little bit more in terms of what we're doing in attack and distributing and making things happen going forward.
For sure.
Those are the interesting dynamics. In terms of predictions, I would say I don't quite know. It's hard to tell where Ireland are going to be at. I would suspect England will win the game.
I think so.
But I don't know what kind of Ireland we'll see, and whether England are going to completely blow us away, or whether we're going to make it scrappy and cling on and make it respectable, as England did in Cardiff.
That's it. Exactly. England's showing in Cardiff would be a very positive one for Schmidt and Ireland.
Where Scotland's in Paris, or Scotland's in wherever it was, Nice.
Yes, exactly. And there's a distinct possibility of both. Which is what has me a little edgy about it. Even though it's only a World Cup game, if we get blitzed by this England team, I don't rate what it does for our confidence. But a few things like set piece and defence, that's what the focus this week is, as well as a few combinations. Obviously answering the 10 question, that the conundrum that's now being put to Joe, given the fact that Carberry's gone down, probably will have to bring another 10. Who's that going to be? So there are still those kinds of questions, but the main thing will just be, are they physically there or not?
I would love to see Sean Cronin get a game as well. Sean Cronin would
get a start, you mean?
Get a start. If Sean Cronin is on the bench for anybody other than Rory Best, I'm going to go Balubas, because It's
He
too.
might be. Do you know he's starting Niall Scannell?
Yeah, no, he will start Scannell and put Cronin on the bench. He's not treated Cronin right, and it's going to be one of the great missed opportunities not getting what a guy who has the potential to be as useful and versatile an offensive hooker as any of those guys, like your Dane Coleses and your Schalk Britzes and Malcolm Marxes and Cody Taylors. Like he's very, very good. He doesn't quite have the passing game that those guys have, but he is an elite ball carrier, a really dangerous and quick guy who Ireland have seemingly just played out of and rocked his confidence and played him out of contention. So I'd love to see him get a go at hooker to see how that goes.
Sure,
but I would suspect we won't see that. I'm unsure, but I listen. We're nervous. This is my thing. I'm nervous about the whole thing, the whole enterprise, the whole World Cup
it's
enterprise.
It's tougher to talk about Ireland than any other team because we're so close to it. But I'm looking to see just positive signs, and it's exciting because it's Twickenham and it's England and it's a proper test match. It's going to, even if we do get blitzed in that first 10, I think it will become a very intense test match, even if that is the start to it. So it's definitely a worthwhile hit out, I think, for Ireland. It's one that's necessary after a kind of soft non-contest against Italy and then a week's break, as well as all the pre-season they've been doing. This is definitely their first litmus test of where they're at. Whereas we kind of have seen from England, we've seen both their starting team against Wales blow them away. We've seen some changes come in, so we've had a lot. They've had a lot of more players get up to the physical speed. Ireland now need to try and do that over these next few weeks, and it starts here. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you want to subscribe, there should be a button up here. Don't forget to give us a like and share with your friends, and please leave comments down below. We love the conversation. Thanks.